Welcome to the Guidance for Light and Sound Meditation video series with Mark from PureEnergyMeditation.com. This is video number 39 of 45. By now we've really started to explore the whole concept of meditation as a way of becoming more aware of the stillness we have on the inside. We've also introduced the idea or the concept of that there are forms of meditation which can take you beyond the limits that you currently can explore. So within what we can currently explore, we have our mind, our emotions, our body, our aura and our chakra systems. And people talk about different levels of consciousness within that. So for example, the physical, the etheric, the astral, the mental, the higher mental, the intuitive or Buddhic, and the atmic. So these are the kind of known as the 7 levels of consciousness within creation, and whether you've explored them all or not, they're all there for you to explore from day one. So, some forms of meditation like kundalini can move your energy around your aura and chakra system. Through breath meditation, through mantra meditation, it's possible to access stillness that's so profound that will give you an awareness within, for example, the Buddhistic or the intuitive level, or even to reach the atmic principle, which is sitting with this sense of being one thing everywhere. But all of these things are within what you already have access to. And so the meditation that I've talked about in previous videos, which is light and sound meditation, is really meditation that starts beyond these limits. And the kind of defining point, if you want, on a map in terms of your energy vibrations would be your crown chakra. But the easiest way of explaining this is through a metaphor or analogy. Welcome to you. Obviously this isn't you, but it's a nice metaphor for where a person is. This is someone that hasn't already got access to light and sound energy, and if you have, then this metaphor will help you understand where you are in terms of what's happened in the process, and help you to understand how in meditation you're accessing light and sound and the different factors that go into making it easier to do so. What we've got here is just a nice glass bottle, and you can see we have some liquid here, we have some bubbles and we've got a space above, and at the top we've got a lid. This represents a typical person, anyone, and this also is every single person that ever got access to light and sound as well, was this in terms of where they were in their energy before they got access to light and sound. So this is the normal way of being, okay? So what do these different things represent? Well, we've got something very physical here, we can touch it. So this glass, if you like, is representing the physical body. And organised by the physical body, we have some water, which, as you can see, flows around and moves around freely within there. Now, we can touch the water, but it's not got such a definite edge compared to the glass. And so the water is representing our emotional body, if you like. And emotions are very much like water in how they flow and move, and can be quite turbulent or can be quite calm. And then above that, we have these bubbles. And these bubbles, if you like, if you touch them, they're very ephemeral, really. Bubbles represent thoughts, so they've got distinct edges. They each have their different facets and surfaces, but they're all quite distinct. Now, this is just an analogy, but let's go with it, okay? So, most people's experience of life is going to be physical, in terms of the body, emotional, in terms of what's swishing around within their awareness, thoughts, as in the different ideas and opinions and expressions of thought energy that they have within their thought body. That we have access to higher mind, which you could say is the margin where the bubbles start to stop. And we have access to the intuitive plane, or the intuitive vibrational level, which would be the space inside the bottle above the thoughts, but below the lid. And then we have access to something that people call the atmic principle, and that would be the inside of the lid. Inside the lid, right at the top, at the narrowest part. And that's because the atmic principle, if you like, is the point of unity within duality, within creation. So You may have heard the idea of as above, so below. So absolute unity or absolute love, God's state, enlightenment, the source, whatever you want to call it, exists on a much higher level than what I'm referring to here. But the atmic point is the point of manifestation of these lower vehicles, and we can experience that within our meditation if we're lucky enough, or if we have the patience and we put in the time to become still. And what's happening when we meditate is that instead of being aware of the body, so literally on the inside, clinging to the surface of this glass bottle, instead of being aware of the body and the emotions, so floating around in there, or the mind, we're starting to learn to be still. We can learn stillness in different ways. So we can have stillness of the body. For example, yoga when you hold an asana, or Tai Chi when you just do standing still and being present. You're starting to explore stillness through the physical body. And when we sit and meditate, just on a cushion or a chair or a beanbag, then we're making the body still. So we can start to explore stillness within the physical body, but this stillness allows us to start to also be aware of what else there is. Because when things are jumping around all the time and moving, then our attention goes with them. But as we make things stiller, then it's easier to let go of them. So we make the body still, and then we become aware maybe of the emotions. So inside we have the emotions. Now at the moment they're nice and still, but in everyday life our emotions are much more like this. There's a lot of turbulence, there's things going on, and the mind is being affected by the emotions are being affected by the mind, the body is being, affected by what's swishing around inside it. So there's this interplay between the mind, the emotions, the body. And, if we're going through quite a difficult time, then it can seem like, well, everything's just happening together, and we can get quite lost in that. And unfortunately, this is most people's experience of everyday life, is there's a lot of movement going on. Things are jumping around all over the place, and it's really hard to find any stillness. You can see how the bubbles are just permeating this what was clear water. So by creating physical stillness, in meditation, we start to allow things to settle down in other ways. And the breath meditation that we've been doing in terms of the counting breath, which uses the mind and uses the physical body, is a great way of creating stillness also in the mind, the body, and in the emotions. And so wherever you are in your awareness, whether you're totally in your mind, totally in the body, totally in the emotions, there's always going to be some stillness. And the more we focus on the stillness, then the stiller things become. And as we become stiller and stiller, then our awareness can rise. So we've talked about raising your vibration or expanding your consciousness. Well, your consciousness already includes all of this. But for the best part, it's spent most of its time either aware of the body or aware of the mind or aware of the emotions. So as we focus more on stillness, we get more stillness. And the stiller you are, the higher up the bottle you become. Because this bottle can also be considered as being almost like a range of vibrations. So the bottom of the bottle is the slowest stuff. That's the physical body, if you like. The emotions are a bit faster, but there's more stillness. And then the mind. And then above that, in terms of vibration, faster still, we have the intuitive. And then above that, we have the atmic. So there's relative vibrations, and the faster the vibration, the more things are aligning with love. The slower the vibration, the more they're moving into kind of crystal form, if you like. So as we meditate, we let go of the bottle. We let go of the water, we let go of the bubbles, and we start to move into this space above them. And this would be the intuitive vibrational plane and the atmic. Now you might not actually be aware of it as intuition or atmic, but you might just have greater and greater senses of stillness. And that's great. And all of the different forms of meditation we've done so far in terms of breath meditation, mantra meditation, kundalini, all the different schools out there are predominantly working within this bottle. And that's our birthright as a human being, is this quite vast realm. Because although the bottle gets narrower at the top, in terms of vibration, it expands. Because this vibration is so much faster than down here. There's a lot more consciousness up there when you're considering it. What is this light and sound kind of energy? What's the deal here? And in terms of getting it, what's going on? So if you haven't heard the terminology already, what people often refer to is the process of initiation, which literally means beginning, because to initiate something means to begin. If I said to this bottle, okay, unscrew your lid, it can't, because there's nothing inside the bottle that can take this lid off. It has to be something on the outside of the bottle that unscrews the lid, something that's got more vibration, because up here, above it, is higher vibration than below it. So the process of unscrewing the lid, if you like, is the process of initiation. When you're given access to light and sound, what it means is that the lid is taken off. And light and sound exists up here, above the lid. And the consciousness you already have exists down here. But the consciousness you have came from light and sound. It came from love. So if you like, light and sound is the flow of love through the spiritual dimensions and into these lower vehicles. But when they come through the atmic point, when they come through the crown chakra, then it manifests out into all these lower vibrations that you already have access to. But for you to go into light and sound, you need to be able to go past this lid. And the lid is the crown chakra. In front of your crown, you have another chakra. And this is the one that people experience when they raise their kundalini, when they think, oh, my crown is opening. The crown cannot open without some external energy. In other words, it's meant to be closed. It's still there. You still have a crown chakra, but it's dormant. It's almost like it's there going, wake me up, open me. Kind of like a present in a room. You want to know what's inside it. And so even though the crown chakra is closed, it is the highest chakra that you have, and it's there to remind you of your divinity, that you came from love, that you have the potential to reconnect with love. And the reconnection is the process of initiation. So when someone who already is enlightened uses their higher consciousness, they can align with love, and by a simple process of placing their hands on your head can literally open your crown chakra, activating it, and therefore, as you can see, creating the opening so that your awareness can now move beyond the bottle. What would happen if I took someone off the street who'd never meditated and I gave them initiation? Because this is something I can do. I've given access to the light and sound energy, or to be more specific, I've acted as a neutral conduit to allow people to reconnect with love. What would happen if I did that to someone who'd never meditated? Well, their crown chakra would be opened. Would they necessarily notice anything? Probably not. And the reason is that the dominant behavior wins. If someone's only ever been aware of their mind or their emotions or their physical body, they're not suddenly going to go up here and out through the top of the bottle. And this is the reason why when I'm teaching people, and the same for other teachers, that there's a certain amount of preparation that's needed before you give someone access to light and sound. The process of initiating someone is the same no matter who the person is that's receiving the energy. Their crown chakra will open when they're given the opportunity. In other words, when the person initiating the process, the initiator, gives the person the energy, the crown chakra is opened. If that person's practiced letting go in their meditation and raising their vibration, they'll raise out of the bottle and they'll notice light and sound energy, which is completely different from anything they've noticed within the bottle. But if they haven't practiced meditating and they don't have an ease of letting go, then they'll just stay where they are. They may just stay in their physical awareness, they may just stay in their emotional awareness or their mind. More likely they'll stay in all three, because that's where people are day to day normally. The process of initiation doesn't guarantee that the person has any awareness of these higher vibrations of light and sound energy. These vibrations of light and sound energy really are just the flow of love, but they manifest as light and sound. Even with the lid shut, everything, including the bottle, from the atmic point, the intuitive or Buddhic as it's known, the higher mind, the lower mind, the antikarana, which is the connection between the two, the astral body or emotional body, the etheric body, the physical body. All of these things came from love. All of these things were created as a cooling down, if you like, or a slowing down of this flow of love. In other words, these things aren't separate from light and sound. They're caused by light and sound. Within these different vehicles, there exists light and sound. In fact, right now, the fact that you can see this video and you can hear my voice is because there's physical light and physical sound. So that's the physical version. And when you sit in meditation and maybe you notice colour, what you're aware of is emotional light. And if you hear various pitches of sounds in your meditation and sometimes out of meditation, you're picking up on the sounds of the vibrations in your own aura. And there's mental light and there's mental sounds and there's Buddhic or intuitive light and sound, and the atmic point comes from light and sound. So within all of this, there's also light and sound. But just as the physical body is at a much lower vibration than the mental body, all the light and sound within this, from the atmic down, is a much lower vibration than light and sound as I'm referring to it in light and sound meditation. So by taking the lid off, you've now got the potential to raise your vibration and not be limited by a closed crown chakra, which means you can now explore this much vaster spiritual state of consciousness. And it is vast. I mean, to put it into perspective, each level, if you like, is a quantum shift in terms of order of magnitude. Now, I'm not talking three-dimensional space, but just to try and give you an idea. So the astral plane is an order of magnitude bigger than the physical plane. It's infinitely bigger, if you like, but it's tiny compared to the mental plane, and the mental plane is tiny compared to the intuitive plane, and so on. So once this lid is opened and you can explore these vaster planes of consciousness, they really are massive. And the sense of time, you're going from, down here, a sense of seconds, hours, minutes, through to a sense of time that is on a different scale. And that's why it gets a lot easier to meditate once you have access to light and sound. When I say light and sound, I'm talking about spiritual light and sound, which is vibrating at a frequency which is much higher than what's confined to this bottle. And so, although the words might sound the same, so I'm referring to awareness of light, sound vibration, and all these things, remember you can experience the lower resonance of them within what you've already got. But noticing light on the inside before initiation is not the same light as after initiation. In other words, not to get complacent or to think, well, I see light, I hear sound already, so therefore I've got access to light and sound. What you've got access to if you haven't received initiation is the vibrations of light and sound that exist within this very dualistic, kind of almost material manifestation. So even the atmic point, which if you were to sit in the atmic point, which is just inside the neck of the bottle, if you were to sit there, you would have a sense of unity. You would have a sense of being one with everything. But it would only be if you like, the representation of unity. In other words, an experience of unity. And all experiences require separation. You can't experience something if you are something. So when a person attains enlightenment, which is way beyond even what happens when you first leave the bottle, when someone experiences, or more precisely becomes a state of enlightenment, it's not an experience. They are unity as opposed to experiencing the manifestation of unity down here, but really to put in place a sense of the scale of what is possible. So all kundalini practices are located from below the lid down. All forms of meditation are based on the mind, so mindfulness, mandalas, mantras, visualizations, chanting, anything like this is all happening inside this bottle. If you want to go beyond into these higher vibrations, then you need to have the crown chakra opened, and it cannot be opened from below. So there's no drugs or medicines or anything that can open the bottle from within the bottle. There's no thoughts that you can have, because a thought is down here, that can affect the crown chakra. The intuitive plane cannot touch the crown chakra. Even the atmic point cannot touch the crown chakra. The crown chakra is there to be opened by love, and it comes through a person that has already made that journey themselves. And this naturally draws into the question of chicken and the egg. So if you can only, if the crown chakra can only be opened by someone who's already gone beyond, then who opened their crown chakra? And this is really where ascended masters and the idea of spiritual masters come in. Now, the word spiritual master gets used a lot, and nowadays a lot of people use it just to mean someone that's got some experience. So the true measure of someone that is a master is that they can open someone's crown chakra and, importantly, take that person to enlightenment. And the mechanism of expanding your awareness and progressing to enlightenment is the light and sound. So unless a teacher can reveal light and sound, then they may be a very good teacher in terms of what's going on inside the bottle, but they can't take you beyond the bottle. You have to find out for yourself. But hopefully it's helpful having this kind of perspective. So my goal here is to challenge the limits of what you've maybe experienced up till now. If you're already initiated into light and sound, and there are a number of different groups out there that are teaching light and sound meditation, then there's some things that are really, really clear. So you're either just experiencing light and sound within what you've already got access to, or you're experiencing spiritual light and sound. Spiritual light and sound is not based on any kind of awareness of the brow chakra, the throat chakra. It's not based on a mantra or anything like that. It is energy, and you give your attention to that energy. In some traditions, they may use a mantra to help you relax and get still, to then connect with light and sound. But it needs to be very clear that the imparting of a mantra does not mean that you've got access to light and sound. Light and sound comes through physical touch. And the reason is that light and sound comes from the source, okay? And the source is love, and love contains and is the cause of everything, including the physical body. And if a person returns to the source, in other words, they complete their spiritual journey and they realize enlightenment, then in that moment, they are everywhere. And that also includes the physical body. So the start of the process has to come right down to the physical level. And so there cannot be initiation without physical touch. In other words, to realize you're one thing everywhere, you have to be everywhere, and that includes the physical body. So initiation starts with physical touch, in which the person doing the initiation acts as a bridge between the source and the person receiving the energy on the physical level. And therefore, that person doing the initiation has to themselves be enlightened, because that's the only way they can be on every single level between the source and the physical level. So you can't be enlightened by someone that's passed over to the other side, because they no longer have a physical body. In the same way that to get this lid off the bottle, I need to physically take it off. So hopefully this helps understand a little bit more about the potential you have. So it's not just about exploring what you've already got, but genuinely, and this is not a concept, this is a reality. So I've been through this process myself, and I've taken many people through this process myself. If on the day when you get initiation and you kind of don't notice anything, then there's really two things that might have happened. Number one is that you haven't let go. You're still in your mind or your emotions or your body or sitting here. And that's normal. So not everyone notices straight away, this light that's unlike anything they've ever noticed before. But if after time and lots of meditation, you're still not noticing anything, then either you're really, really stuck, in which case your teacher should be able to help you, or they weren't able to initiate you. And I talk about this a lot more in an article that I wrote about how to tell if you've been initiated and why in certain circumstances the connection might not have worked. But generally, if you were in a group of people and other people got the energy and noticed things and you didn't, then what that means is that we need to go back a bit and just make sure that we've got a real ease in our meditation, because fundamentally, no matter how experienced you are, if you've been initiated for many years or it's just day one, if you can't let go of the physical body, if you can't let go of the emotional body or the mind, you're not going to leave these vehicles and start to notice what's beyond them. That's why all the stuff that we've done so far in these videos in terms of breath meditation, relaxation, being aware of what's going on, understanding how our choices affect our vibration, these things are so relevant and so important because they're all geared up towards when you get given the energy and that moment happens where, you know, you're initiated and the bottle's now open and you can leave, that you can actually do so. If you haven't learned how to relax and let go, then the chances are you won't, and therefore you'll stay in the bottle. You've still got the lid off, you've still got the potential to notice light and sound, but you've still at that point not learned how to let go. So meditation is learning how to let go. And we don't fight our mind, we raise our vibration by focusing on stillness, because even within these bubbles there's a center that is still. Even within this water there can be stillness. Even within the molecules of this glass there's stillness in the spaces. So stillness exists on every level, and the more you give your attention to something, the more of it you get. If you haven't already been initiated, then you know this is something to explore if it's of interest to you. Not everyone's going to be ready, not everyone's going to resonate with this, and that's okay. Everyone's at a different level in terms of their own vibration and where they are on their own spiritual journey. But everyone matters, every soul matters. And so by putting this information out there, hopefully it just inspires you to go, well, you know what, let's take my meditation to the next level, or let's find out how I can let go with more ease so that if this opportunity comes up, I'm ready for it. And if you have already been initiated and you find that you're getting stuck in the bottle, then hopefully going back over the videos I've already done will give you more of an insight into how you can find an ease of letting go, raising your vibration and becoming more aligned with love. Because what's flowing down in the form of light and sound is love. And once this connection's open, once the crown chakra's open, it's not just about you leaving and taking your consciousness into higher spiritual realities. It's about allowing this love to flow in and permeate through your mind, your emotions and your body. Once you're initiated and the lid's off, you really are a channel for light and love in a way that is so profound that it's just beautiful. And that's why I'm making these videos to share with you so that you can find out for yourself. So anyway, question is, are you going to do so? I'll leave that with you, and hopefully this has just helped shed some light on your journey and the potential to realize that there's so much more than what you can explore. And what you can explore is massive, but don't stop there, just keep going, because ultimately what's the potential is to realize that you are the state of enlightenment, you are the source of everything. And that's when things get really interesting. So we're going to talk some more about this in the next videos in this series. And you know, feel free to enjoy them and to share this video as well if it's been of benefit. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I really hope you found it enjoyable but also useful. If you've not already done so, then check out the first video that I did and then all the subsequent videos, because watching them in the order that they're presented, you'll get the most benefit from them. As with all the other things I do, including the teaching, MP3 downloads, articles and the ebook, everything I do for free. And I put it out there simply to help people just like you to get the most from their meditation. So please do feel free to share this video with others. And if you've not already had a look, then head on over to my website, where you'll find lots of downloads, useful articles, and even a free ebook. And most importantly, enjoy meditating and putting into practice these different techniques and things that we're learning. Thank you again for taking the time, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.